Hello everyone and welcome back to Explore Engineering. In today's video, we'll explore the fascinating world of the Puranas, the ancient Indian texts that have preserved our history, religious beliefs, cultural traditions, and timeless moral values for thousands of years. Through inspiring stories and simple narratives, the Puranas explain profound philosophical ideas and guide us toward truth, devotion, and righteous living. Let's begin this journey into one of the greatest treasures of Indian knowledge and heritage. So here in this image, you can see an informative overview of the Puranas, which are ancient Indian religious and cultural texts that preserve the history, traditions, philosophy, and beliefs of Indian civilization. Here you can see that the title describes the Puranas as ancient texts of wisdom, tradition, and culture. So you can see here a sage writing manuscripts represents how these sacred texts were composed in Sanskrit and passed from one generation to another through storytelling and oral traditions. These are the key features of the Puranas. The first panel highlights the historical narratives describing the genealogy of kings, dynasties, sages, and important historical and legendary events. The second panel focuses on the religious teachings, illustrating major deities such as Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi, whose stories promote devotion, that is Bhakti, righteousness, and spiritual growth. The third panel presents cultural traditions showing festivals, rituals, temples, and pilgrimage sites that preserve India's rich cultural heritage. And the fourth panel explains the moral lessons taught through inspiring stories, encouraging values such as truth, honesty, compassion, humility, charity, and devotion. The fifth panel illustrates the knowledge of the universe, showing concepts related to cosmology, creation of the universe, geography, astronomy, and cycles of time according to ancient Indian beliefs. Now, here you can see some of the major Puranas, that is 18 Mahapuranas, including the Vishnu Purana. Then you have Shiva Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Markandeya Purana, Brahma Purana, and the Skanda Purana. The significance panel emphasizes that the Puranas played a vital role in the preserving India's history, religion, philosophy, and cultural traditions. So overall, we can say that the Puranas are the timeless sources of spiritual wisdom, ethical values, and traditional knowledge that continue to inspire society and preserve India's rich cultural heritage. Next comes the major Puranas, which are among the 18 Mahapuranas of the ancient India. These sacred texts preserve India's religious beliefs, historical traditions, philosophy, culture, and moral values. The title emphasizes that the Puranas are timeless treasures of knowledge that have guided people towards truth, devotion, and righteous living for centuries. Here you can see the 6 important Puranas, each highlighting different aspects of spirituality, mythology, and Indian culture. The first panel introduces the Vishnu Purana, which glorifies Lord Vishnu as the protector of the universe. It explains the creation of the world, the genealogy of kings and dynasties, and importance of devotion, that is Bhakti. This Purana also describes the 10 incarnations, that is the Dashavatara of Lord Vishnu, and emphasizes the preservation of Dharma. The second focuses, that is this second panel, it focuses on the Shiva Purana dedicated to Lord Shiva. It describes Shiva's divine forms, cosmic role, teachings, and sacred stories. The text explains his significance as the destroyer of evil and the symbol of spiritual wisdom, meditation, and transformation. Now, the third panel presents the Bhagavata Purana, one of the most popular devotional texts. It mainly describes the life and teachings of Lord Krishna, emphasizing devotion, love, compassion, and righteousness. The stories inspire people to develop faith, selfless service, and devotion to God. The fourth panel illustrates the Markandeya Purana, which contains many stories of sages, kings, and divine beings. It is especially famous for Devi Mahatmya, that is the Durga Saptashati. which praises the Divine Mother and symbolizes the victory of good over evil. The Purana teaches courage, faith, and the power of the righteousness. Now comes the fifth Purana, that is the Brahma Purana, which describes the creation of the universe by Lord Brahma. It includes information about the geography, sacred rivers, pilgrimage centers, temples, and cultural traditions. It also preserves historical and religious knowledge related to ancient India. The sixth panel highlights the Skanda Purana, the largest of all the Puranas. It is dedicated to Lord Skanda, that is the Kartikeya, and contains detailed descriptions of the pilgrimage sites, temples, sacred rituals, and religious practices. It encourages devotion and explains the importance of holy places in Indian culture. Now at the bottom here you can see that the image concludes that the Puranas are the timeless treasures that guide us on the path of truth, devotion, knowledge, and righteous living. So through the inspiring stories, philosophical teachings, and historical narratives, they preserve India's spiritual traditions and ethical values. So overall we can say that major Puranas continue to educate, inspire, and guide people by promoting truth, compassion, righteousness, and devotion while preserving the rich cultural and religious heritage of India for future generations. Now comes the significance of the Puranas, where their enduring contribution to India's history, religion, culture, philosophy, and moral values are highlighted here in this image. At the top here you can see the title. It emphasizes that the Puranas are the timeless and scriptures that have preserved India's wisdom and heritage for centuries. You can see a sage who is writing manuscripts and sacred text symbolize the transmission of knowledge from one generation to the another generation through storytelling and the oral traditions. The image is divided into 5 key sections that explain the major contributions of the Puranas. The first section preserves history, shows scenes from ancient India representing the preservation of historical events, genealogies of kings, dynasties, sages, and legendary stories. The second section preserves the religious beliefs, illustrates major deities such as Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi, emphasizing devotion, faith, and promotion of the righteous living through their teachings. The third section preserves the cultural traditions, depicts festivals, rituals, temples, pilgrimage sites, and social customs. By passing social customs, and it highlights how the Puranas have safeguarded India's rich culture heritage by passing the traditions from one generation to the next. The fourth section teaches moral values. It portrays a sage guiding disciples and through inspiring stories that promote truth, honesty, compassion, humility, charity, devotion, and ethical living. The fifth section is makes the philosophy easy to understand. It illustrates a teacher explaining complex philosophical concepts through simple stories and examples. And this demonstrates how the Puranas made profound spiritual ideas accessible to ordinary people, engaging and encouraging them to follow the path of truth and righteousness. So here you can see the message that the Puranas inspired the generations to live or to follow with the truth, devotion, righteousness, and the ethical values or the ethical living. It also emphasizes that these sacred texts continue to provide spiritual guidance, cultural identity, and traditional knowledge in modern times. So overall, we can say that Puranas are as invaluable repositories of India's religious, cultural, and philosophical heritage. By preserving history, promoting devotion, teaching moral values, and simplifying complex ideas through engaging stories, the Puranas continue to inspire people and strengthen India's rich spiritual and cultural traditions across the generations. So the Puranas are much more than the ancient scriptures. They are a living source of wisdom, culture, and spiritual guidance. They preserve India's rich history, inspire moral values, strengthen our cultural identity, and continue to teach us the importance of truth, compassion, devotion, and ethical living. I hope this video helped you understand the significance of Puranas. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to Explore Engineering for more educational content on Indian knowledge systems. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.